Hi guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Okay, so I've been doing this voiceover thing for like 20 years now, which is insane because I'm still a child.
Right?
Uh, yeah, so and I'm sure we'll get into this with like questions and stuff. I think like what I always like to tell people about like my story is like if I can do this, so can anyone. Like I didn't go to a fancy acting school. I don't have
Mhm.
uh fancy training. I don't have rich family members. And so I think that like if you are able to place yourself in it, place yourself in real situations and respond in real ways, like that's what it's about. So I love this business because I truly do believe that anybody can do it.
Mhm.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's start at the beginning then. Like, what got you into voice acting?
So I moved to Los Angeles. I grew up in a small town in Tennessee, and I moved to LA, and I didn't really know like what I wanted to do, but I started doing like comedy and like improv and stuff. I know, wild.
Weird.
Uh,
Who'd have thunk it?
who'd have known? Um, but so I was doing all of this improv, which is the best, and I recommend anyone like who wants to do voiceover get some improv training because it makes you so comfortable and loose with
Hmm.
scripts in a way that I think that it that you don't have without that. Like you
Mm.
think the scripts are so important unless you're an improviser, and then you're like, words are not important. So so I was doing comedy, and then I got an agent from that. Um, and then I didn't want to be an idiot because I knew that like it was a real big opportunity for me, and I recognized that. So I asked if if there were any classes that I should take. I
Hmm.
wanted to be good at it, you
Right.
know. And so then I took like a beginner's class in it just to learn what I was doing, and then it was a year before I booked my first spot, and it was a national TV Diet Dr. Pepper spot. Um,
Nice.
Ooh.
and I said something like, "I'm just nuts about you, Diet Dr. Pepper." Like that's it. It's crazy, it's silly. It's so silly what we do, you guys. Um, so it took me a year, and this was not like I was auditioning, right?
Mm.
I had a really great agent at a really great agency, and I was auditioning regularly, and it took me a year
Yeah.
to book one thing. Um, and then it took me a whole another year to book my second thing.
Hmm.
So I think that like this another thing that I'm really big on is like this idea of oh, when I started, voiceover wasn't like a big thing. Like we
Mm.
didn't know unless you were really really into it. Like you just didn't know voice actors. It wasn't anime hadn't really taken over and taken off, and so it you didn't really think of it as a job. So it was this really cool thing that I felt like I got into when I was really young. Um, and and I think that like now it's so much more visible,
Hmm.
right?
Mm.
And people it blows my mind that people are like, I want to be a voice actor. I'm like, I
Yeah.
didn't even know what it was when I was growing up.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah. That's
Um,
awesome.
but it's like if you come into this with I'm going to give myself 3 months, I'm going to give myself 6 months. It, then find another thing that you really love
Hmm.
because
Mm. Right.
this is like
Hmm.
long haul.
Yeah.
I I was very lucky to like book a big commercial like after a year and then another one after the second year, but I was hooked. Like as soon as I took that first class, I was like, this is so fun. This is
Awesome.
like the creativity, the excitement, that you get from any sort of
Mm-hmm.
acting or any sort of being on stage, any kind of acting. You get all of it in voice acting. And so I knew I didn't want to do anything else.
Amazing.
So I was like, I'm hanging in here because I love auditioning, and I don't care how, if I need to have side jobs for the rest of my life. And I had a lot of side jobs, you guys. Like that I I was so here's the thing. Like, this is my full-time job now, and it's the best. It's the best, and it has been my full-time job for quite a while now. However, at the beginning, there was a Starbucks around the corner from my apartment in West Hollywood. I opened at Starbucks. Um, so 5 a.m. I'm the one who was there serving people their coffee when
Amazing.
they're in the worst moods of the day. Um, I was like, I worked at Starbucks in the morning. In the afternoons, I nannied, and then at night I catered. So I was like, I worked all the time, side
Mhm.
jobs, and then at like super super late when I would get back from the catering jobs, I would audition. I would record the stuff I
Mm-hmm.
needed to,
Mm-hmm.
because I just didn't have time through the day. So it's hard. I understand, like, the transition from working another job into
Yeah.
voice acting full time is so hard. But it was worth it for me because I was like, this is the most fun part of my day. If I only get to do it in the off times, then it's worth it, you know.
Totally. Can I go back to something you said about improv and how it affected you reading scripts? Can you remember your mindset on reading the script before you did a lot of improv and then
Mhm.
after and how you approached it?
Ooh.
That's such a great question, and I wish I had a before and after.
Oh no.
But I was an improviser before I even got in.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I was an improviser, that's why I got the opportunity in
Yeah.
voiceover.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I don't think, and I was, it was, I think they're not, um, around anymore, sadly, but it was Abrams was my
Mm.
first agency, and it was awesome because I just was like, "Yeah, this new kid, like, whatever, this." I didn't know that the agency was going to be like a big, wonderful agency, and it was, and they
Mhm.
took such great care of me, and so yeah, I always approached it
Yeah.
from that standpoint, because I didn't know any better, Bill.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, that's great. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just naturally improv. I like it.
Yeah. Did that answer, Zelda? I
Yes,
don't know.
yes, that was amazing. Thank you.
You feel
And it
free to
formed like
just
four other questions in my head. So
great. Thank you. Well, feel free to stop me and get me back on
no,
task.
no.
I'll tell you all the horrible people that came to the West Hollywood Starbucks.
Let's talk about that. No, I'm just
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you work in so many genres, anime, animation, commercial. How do you adjust your approach to each genre?
Great question. Um, I I want to say blanket over all of them. The thing that always remains the same, no matter what genre we're talking about, is I always read a script and figure out the story that I want to tell with it. Whether it's
Mm,
a commercial, whether it's promo, whether it's a character in a video game, animation, whatever,
Mhm.
um, I never think about what anything sounds like at
mm,
all. I never think about anything technical at all. I literally, the first thing with any script is I'm like, what story do I want to tell with this? And I mean, I want to tell with this, not what do I think this character is supposed to tell. And and maybe that's like a, a bad answer, but I don't, if I don't bring myself
Yeah.
to it, then I find that it's not specific, it's not as fun, it's not as,
mm,
like, engaging of a character, um, and I feel very strongly that I'm not right for everything,
Mhm.
um, and I think that when actors can get to that place, it's a really liberating thing,
mm,
to be able to look. Now, that doesn't mean I turn the audition down. I absolutely do it. But I do it with the story that I want to tell. And if that means that it's like someone else is better for that character, well,
Yeah.
awesome. Then they should be that character. But likely there's something that the casting people or the team is going to hear in what I did in that
Yeah.
audition that I wasn't right for. And it's like, she doesn't know this character's coming up in this episode or this part of the game or whatever that we haven't even cast yet. And she's perfect for that because we
Yeah.
got to know her from her audition.
Does that go back to your statement about anybody can do this? Because you're putting you in your audition and you're putting you in your role. So everyone can put them in their role,
Yeah,
right? Is that kind of how you think of that?
absolutely.
Okay.
I don't think that the problem is that people don't have a story to tell. I think the biggest hurdle is people think that their story doesn't matter or their
Right.
story isn't as good as
Right.
someone
Right.
else's.
Right.
Like, oh, someone else would they're more equipped for this. Well, no, we're not. And my version is not the right version.
Mm.
Um, whenever I like coach people, I'm very, very, very like I hammer that like there's not any right version to anything. So I send multiple takes for everything because
Oh, really?
there's not. When you when you've done 20 years worth of sessions, you understand that you're not going in. Sessions aren't this big scary thing where you go in and they're like, do it right. It's like, like it's this thing where you go in and you guys figure it out, you
Yeah.
find it, or they direct you a bunch of different ways until
Uh-uh.
you get to this thing that everybody loves. It's the best version or the version that we end up wanting for this.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
the collaboration part, eh? That seems the most rewarding because everyone's bringing their own stuff into it and can kind of work
Yeah.
towards a better result than one person could.
yeah.
Yeah.
Zelda, I still remember. I know I didn't fully answer your question, so I'm going
You're
to.
good.
I
You're good.
so that's what I see is like the same about all of them, and I think if you don't
Yeah.
think about anything else except like I'm going to tell a story with this and I'm going to make the listener feel something.
Mm-hmm.
If you did nothing else, like you're ahead of the game.
Right.
How I approach them differently. Um, Commercials, I always think like if I'm just sitting around with a buddy, how would I say this?
Yeah.
So commercial is the most conversational ever. Um, Promo, like always has a little like always a little thing. Like I know more and I'm letting people in on it.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
and then any sort of character work is I create the world and create the scene. Literally like if a lot of people that get into this are theater actors. So if you think about it like how you would block the scene, I that's the first thing that I do when I see scripts and it doesn't matter if it's in there or not. Most of the time it's not. We
Yeah.
get the lines of this. We don't really know what's happening. We don't really know where we are,
Mhm.
especially with video games because they're so
Right.
like under wraps.
Mm.
But I like stage manager style, like block the scene in my head. And I'm like, okay, here I am. And on this line, I grab this vial out of their hand. And on this line, I smash it to the ground. And on this line, oh, their little cat walks in. Like, whatever it is. Like, I literally block out action.
Right.
The action of everything. If I just think about like, how am I going to say this? Then it's about a sound, right? You should think about like, what's your emotion in this? But if I know what's happening, then all I have to do is like drop myself into that scene.
Right. Very cool.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
that
gonna-
answered it.
Yes, you did.
I do have one follow-up, if that's okay.
Yeah. No, it's not
Although-
okay, Bill. Moving on.
Okay.
No.
Um,
Yeah, Bill, no.
I do want to give a shout out to Trent who came to SkillsHub
Oh, I was
on the
just
road.
about to
Thank
pull
you,
that
Sal.
up.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I,
No,
yes,
you're
thank
good.
you. I'll let you read that.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Trent.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. It booked me 4 gigs since
I
the
know.
Yeah, man, that makes me
Right?
so happy.
Yeah.
And
That's
Trent, you
awesome.
killed it at, like in person. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah. That's very cool. And my
Awesome.
question is, you said something about when you're looking at a script, you don't worry about anything technical.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
I mean, I don't think about like I don't think about punctuation.
Mm.
Okay.
I don't think about when I'm gonna pause for dramatic effect. I don't I don't think about like where's my vocal placement? And I know I sound like such a jerk when I like make a voice like that, but I think there is a place for all of that. Like I think
Right.
that you should know all of this. Like learning all of this stuff is great. So knowing about vocal placement and stuff, I just think that like when it comes down to it,
Mm.
when you get into a script, when you get into a character, that stuff is there and you just need to believe that it's there.
Mm.
If you go through a version and you find that like you don't have enough breath support to get through it, okay, then you learned something. But
Right.
I think if you're thinking about breath
Yeah.
support, I think if you're thinking about
Mm.
placement, if you're thinking about tone, you're not playing a character.
Yeah.
I
Right.
I want to be trained in that stuff and know that it lives in
Yeah.
here, and then I just want to dump myself into the scene and
Yeah.
respond to
And
every
trust.
all the action that's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Trust yourself.
Do you
Yeah.
even ignore the technicalities? Like, for example, let's say in the script it says, I said dot 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 get away, and get away is in all caps. Like, you just don't worry
No.
about it? Yeah.
No.
I don't
No.
I don't
No.
either.
I love that. I don't worry about the dot dot dot. I don't worry about all caps. I don't worry about
Mm.
exclamation points, because if you think about it, like if you're analyzing this, if you're picking up a script and you're analyzing it in a way that you think that there's one right way to do it, then 95% of the people are sending in the exact same read.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
Right.
and my point isn't to be like be different for the sake of being different. It's not for the sake of being different, it's be real. Like
Mhm.
we don't talk like that. Commercials love to put like exclamation points all the time. Like we're this excited about a sale at Target. We're not. That's not what we get excited about, you know? And when we're the most excited in our lives, like we don't sound like that.
Mhm.
Right.
I just gave someone a note today that I think is great for everyone to do.
Mhm.
Really pay attention, uh, be aware of your real. I feel like a dog just
I
came in
was
here.
just gonna say something
Um,
waving behind you.
and I Oh my God, you guys. I have one of those chairs that is like a ball, and a cat just stabbed it, and I'm like sinking. So so now I'm gonna sit here. Yeah. It's
Let's
like
get
one,
SkillsHub on there first.
you guys. No joke, I started hearing like like air's getting let out
I can hear it
because
too.
because a jerk, this little jerk, Nacho, just
How?
stabbed
Oh.
my ball chair.
Oh my gosh,
You
that's
Oh.
so
you
precious.
are a
That's so
bad
Look at that
funny.
girl.
cutie.
You're a bad girl. You're such a bad girl. Okay. So, okay. A great example. Uh Pay attention to your emotions when they happen in the moment. Like that, I was really like, what is
Yeah.
you know? Okay, so when something really shocks you, you're like, okay, that's how I didn't say, what?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is
Right.
like the way the script writes it.
Yeah.
But I was like, what is happening? You know? If like what is happening is all in caps, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mm.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean you have to say it like that.
Yeah.
It,
Right.
right? That's what I mean by it. Oh
I
my,
like it.
this little this little punk.
Incredible.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
Just
I was
think
like,
how
why
long
am I
it's been
sinking and
happening for
hearing air coming out of this was my chair, you guys. This was it's my chair. Amazing.
Oh
All
gosh.
right, I'll fix that later, or just get a new desk chair, Nacho.
Nacho chair.
Yeah, nacho
Nacho
chair.
chair. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh
Incredible.
my goodness.
I have a question from the chat that I'm going to bring up here. How do you bring physicality into the booth while still having good mic technique? I feel hyper aware of my body in the booth and physically free on stage.
Hmm.
Am I just overthinking it?
Yes, you're overthinking it. These are auditions. These are auditions. Move. Do everything, and if that means like I'm sorry, I know if this is bad advice. That means you're off mic for a second cuz
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
That we're not pulling your audition and dumping it in the majority of the time. Sometimes that happens in commercials, sometimes, but like a character that probably won't happen, and most of the
Right.
time it won't happen in commercials. Don't overthink it. If you go off mic for a second, who cares? You then they're really hearing the
Hmm.
physicality in the audition. They're really hearing like the life and the motion and everything. And then they know that you're going to get into a studio and you're going to record it for real. And you're probably going to have
Right.
a mic
Yeah.
connected to a little cap. You're going to have one in front of you. You're the ability for us to move in sessions is amazing now. It's so different than even, well, way different than 20 years ago when I started, but even from like 10 years ago, where we so often wear like we wear mics so that you can move.
Yeah.
So don't move. Be as free as you are on stage. Do not overthink that. Like give them the life in the audition and
Mm-hmm.
and worry about let the engineer in the session worry about the technical
Yeah.
stuff.
So
Right.
in a weird way, those little off the mic imperfections are a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are
Because they
and
show you, show
I'll
them.
tell you what going back to like what improv helps is like mistakes. There are no
Mm.
mistakes. You
Mm-hmm.
whatever happens, you roll with it because that's the reality in that scene, right? So even if you like mess up on something but you have a way in character to fix it,
Yeah.
fix it.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
it's do it. Let your character fix it because then that shows that you're like you're embodying that character. You're not just like saying the
Hmm.
lines.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I like
And
it.
sometimes, honestly, I just get used to it because I tend to work more indie projects where there is no, audio engineer tuning in via Source Connect or anything like that. But it just takes some getting used to because I go off mic too. Sometimes they'll be like, hey, you're yelling to your kid, dinner's ready, you're in the kitchen, they're
Yeah.
upstairs, like you would go this way. And it sounds right. I don't know, they tell me to do it. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Yes.
And you end up getting used to it and you find your levels with your DAW and stuff. And
Mm.
I don't know, it was trial and error for me, like, shoot, I peaked, or no, it's fine. It eventually ended up working out.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Like there are I would never tell someone to record. I know you can't like see it in here, but my studio's pretty big. I have room to move.
Mm.
I move away from my mic. Like
Yeah.
if that's where I am, if I'm that far away from the person, I'll move away from my mic for the audition cuz the audition is not the job, you guys.
Right.
It's not the same as the job. It
Right.
auditioning is our job as voice actors, but they're not the same. The audition is like you being like, here's my idea for this. And the session is whatever the director tells you to do. However the
Yeah.
engineer sets the mic. Like you don't have to do everyone else's job in the session. So have fun with
Yeah.
everyone else's job in the audition.
It's not the final cut.
Right.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
the final cut.
Yeah, I got you.
They want the authenticity more than anything, more
Yeah.
than the technical.
Absolutely.
Or even the person, really, in some ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
I'll
Cool.
pop another one in from the chat. This person kind of has a similar question that I have. When you know you're not right for a role and you audition anyways, how would you pitch it so that it still somewhat fits? So I'll kind of give like an example. Like let's say you're, like in like somebody that has like a little bit more like my range, and I'm auditioning for Mrs. Rainbow Marshmallow, the 2-year-old fairy. So like kind of like high pitch, something that you're like, I'm not connecting with this. I feel like that's not me. Or like if it's something that's a character that has a lived experience that I didn't go through and that's kind of the section of the script, how would you kind of pivot to be like, well, I'm not going to let this go, but I'm still going to try and give it my all?
Great. You find the thing that you do connect to, right?
Mm.
I I don't, so a lot of times I feel like what people are talking about when they're like, I'm not right for this, it has to do with sound. It has to
Mm.
do with
Mm.
pitch. And all
Yeah.
the time I hear people be like, I'm not right for a kid. I've had this deep voice since I was 12. Like I as a kid,
Mm.
I
Yeah.
still had this voice. So this idea that we say kids are supposed to sound like this. They're supposed
Mm.
it's only this, right? Well, I didn't. I had a deeper voice than
Mhm.
every other girl that was in my class, right? So I think like taking that out of your head because like I've lived that. I know that even when I was 12, I didn't have the pitch of a 12-year-old, right?
Yeah.
So to go like Mrs. Rainbow Sprinkle Child, whatever. What I would do is see like, do I connect to something? Like,
Mm.
is she a mischievous little asshole? Great, great, because I can connect to that. Is she super, super nice? And is she like anxious and unsure of herself all the time? Yeah, I can relate to that. That's the thing. I would all the time, you guys, go with what's the personality trait
Mm.
that you can connect to. And the other thing about kids, I think that people are always like, kids are about pitch and tone. Kids are about energy. Are you kidding me? Like kids have energy sitting down that I don't have when I'm working out, you know? So so that's the thing that I want you to bring to the table, because the other thing that happens too that we don't know behind the scenes is that they're casting all these other characters, okay? So let's say there's these two young girls in the show and you're like,
Mm.
pitch wise I'm not right for it. But I could get into that like little like, troublemaker. Yeah, that's what you should hit, because you don't know, that other girl might have already been cast and she has a super high pitched voice and they want a contrast between those two,
Mm.
right?
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
And this is the kind of thing that I bring up to say, not that this happens every time, but it is something that does happen. So instead of talking yourself out of doing something because you think pitch or tone wise, I'm not right for. There's a video game character that I auditioned for, and when I went in, booked the job and went in for the session, and they're like, "Listen, we cast somebody else that sounds similar, so we're gonna have to change, and we've already recorded them, so we're gonna have to change the tone of this character. We love everything that you did with the character, but
Mm.
we gotta adjust the tonal." And we spent the first 30 minutes of the session figuring out how I would still be that character with a different tonal
Right.
shift. So that should tell you everything you need to know about, like, you don't have to have everything right at when it comes to like sound and pitch and tone, like
Yeah.
that can be adjusted easily. But like when you have the intention and the attitude of
Mhm.
the character,
Yeah.
that's what we can't, that's what they don't necessarily know that you can pull off in the
Mhm.
session unless you do
Yeah.
it in the audition.
So I have an example from one of our coaches who did an audition for a role, and they loved him so much, but he just was not right for it at all. They wrote in a new character for because of that audition.
Wow.
I
Brand
believe
new
it.
character into the show, and that one of our coaches just killed that character, and I was just that's like, damn, that's
It's
incredible.
amazing.
Yeah.
And
So
and
be
that's more common. That's more common
you.
than
Mm-hmm.
not. I'm telling you, when you knock an audition out of the park
Yeah.
and you don't book the job, you something is coming from
Hmm.
that awesome audition. I
Right.
Right.
promise you, it's just it's like you can't anticipate it, but that's, you got to show up to every audition and know that
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, we've been wanting to hire you forever and now this
Yeah.
finally came up, or
Yeah.
whatever. We write something for you, you
Yeah.
know?
Even a little tiny thing, right? Yeah.
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 Very cool. Very cool.
I'm going to bring up one more question from the chat. How important do you think it is for actors to be open to regional reps beyond major markets?
Oh, absolutely. Get you some regional reps. Get whatever you can get at the beginning. Listen, they're all getting different stuff. I will tell you that uh, the the job that bought my house in Los Angeles was not a major market agent. So it are they all great? Yes. Yeah. And they're getting different stuff. So like you should absolutely want to have a major market agent, but don't don't knock regional agents. They get really really great jobs
Mm.
if the company is in that area. Sometimes they want to go with their local place and not go to a major market, right? So yes, I think you should absolutely like have both. Have one. If you're having trouble getting a major market, get you a regional agent. Like do and then I have three. I know people that have like a bunch. For me, I have one major market and two regional agents, and that's enough for me because it
Mm.
keeps me busy, and I want to like, I know people that have like six or seven, and I couldn't keep up with that and do like quality auditions. Now, if you can do it, but I just think for me, it's like I get enough auditions from those, and then I'm still able to give quality stuff instead of like, oh, I'm gonna just record this all fast because I've got to get all this in.
Awesome.
One thing I do want to say that I forgot to mention, the past one, was you guys have to hear Sarah as Child Emperor in One Punch Man, because I only recently like found that out a few months ago. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like when I listened to Sarah talk, I was like, I would never think that she would go for a child, but when I heard it, I was like, I can't tell. I cannot tell. I have an ear, and I feel like I'm very good at that, but I could not tell. Like,
Oh, I
sometimes
love it.
you might be surprised about where your voice can take you with the right guidance and the right coaching. And speaking of coaching, Sarah's a coach on SkillsHub, so for those of you that
Yes.
don't know.
Yes. Thank you guys for being here. And listen, send me these if we didn't get to a question, send it to us. Or do they go in like a comment or something?
Oh
Like
yeah,
can we
yeah,
respond to it?
they're all in the chat here. Let me see. I think there was one more about demos from Jeff. Hold on. Here we go. Whoop, where'd it go?
I
Oh.
just opened the chat and then I got deep voice Nashvilleian. I love that.
Yes, that gives
Yes.
me hope. Okay,
Love
this one's
that.
How important do you think it is for actors to be? Oh wait, never mind. So hold on.
Yep.
This is the last Jeff one. I'm looking for the other Jeff one. Where'd it go? It was something about demo. Here we go. What do you find is the best way to get people out of their heads when they're going in to make their demo? There it is.
Well, I think that I think your demo is like so exciting and so specific and so you that if you are going in and you don't feel intimately personally connected to every spot on that page, then get rid of the spot you're not connected to and put another one in. This is not the time. A demo is not the time to be like, look at all I can do. The demo is the time to be like, this is the shit I can do in my sleep. I don't have to think about it. This is who I am. This is my attitude. This is so if you do not feel intimately personally connected to every single thing on there that you're like, with my eyes closed, I could do this, then switch it out. Get you another spot in there because the demo is the time to be like, this is my jam. These things are my jam. Can I do other things? Absolutely. And I will do those in auditions. But your demo is to be like, this is me. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Comment from Bubble Lover. I feel so much better about my demo prep now.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yay! Sarah, thank you so much for coming on here and chatting with us.
Thanks
and
for
thank you
having me.
everybody in the comments for tuning in and asking your questions. Before we let you go, Sarah, besides SkillsHub, where can we find you?
Oh, find me on SkillsHub. I do have an Instagram. I'm not a social media person, you guys. I do have an Instagram, and it's a lot of cat pictures. Yes, I'm That So Cravens on Instagram. I don't think I have any other social media.
Hey, Instagram's great. So
Sounds
that
healthy.
works.
Because I'm trying to be mentally healthy, you
Yep.
guys. It's not a healthy space for me. So yes, I'm on Instagram and SkillsHub, and uh with cat shelters. That's where you find me.
Thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you, Bill, for hopping on here and interviewing Sarah with me. And
Absolutely happy to.
we will see you, and stay tuned for who our guest is next week.
Awesome.
Thank
Bye,
you
everybody.
guys. I'm
Bye.
gonna go fix my chair.